as yesterday once more.
Gee, that sounds like Karen Carpenter.
Sound check.
Well, g'day there. Welcome back to another vocal analysis here at Voice Essentials. My name is Dr. Dan. Today, I've got a really interesting one for you. We are going to be listening to a singer. Her name is Chloe Foston. She's singing a Carpenter's piece, Yesterday Once More. Now, I've been mentioning Chloe's performance, not by name, but referencing that I've had a singer that I was going to give you a listen to who sounds freakishly like Karen Carpenter. I've made mention of this previously because we've listened to Tori Holub, who has the most beautiful voice, and I think I might have even said, Karen, is that you? When we've listened to Tori. And so what happened was, and this is at the end of 2025, a gentleman by the name of Daryl Cook, and I've got his email up on screen for you. He reached out to me and said, hey, Daniel, I listened to your Tori Holub analysis. I wonder whether you would be able to have a review of Chloe, and we exchanged some emails. This is actually the second email that we had because he has reached out, and I'm leaving this on screen for you so hopefully you can read it. But basically, it says he's reached out to the gentleman that recorded what we're about to listen to. So this has been done in a professional capture situation. Alan McGlone, and he has written to us and written to Daryl, who Daryl has then shared the information, telling us about the recording situation. Now, Daryl, I'm going to be honest and say, even with all this information, when I listen to Chloe sing, I had my doubts. I honestly did think I have got to be listening to a lip sync here. This is way too close to the original. We're going to analyze it and we're going to find out, is it a lip sync or isn't it? And so my doubts led me to even look up Alan McGlone and look up Inner City Sound recording studios. Both, it would appear from my very superficial, non-journalistic Google search, both are real. Both Alan and Inner City Sound studios are both. They certainly came up in my search. And Alan has a discography of recordings that he's done. And so we have to take that at face value. And Daryl, this might be letting the cat out of the bag. I am given to fully believing all of this. Let's dive in, and this is going to be more for Daryl and Chloe. Chloe, if you're watching, I hope you find this helpful to perhaps provide evidence. I'm not going to say lay to rest whether Chloe is lip syncing or not, but certainly add to some evidence. Let's dive in. We're going to listen to the first portion of the song, and then we're going to analyze and discuss and see what we can learn.
When I was young, I'd listen to the radio, waiting for my favorite songs. When they played, I'd sing along. It made me smile. Those Those were such happy times, and not so long ago. How I wondered where they'd gone, but they're back again, just like a long lost friend. All the songs I love so well, every sha-la-la-la, every woe still shines. Every shing-a-ling-a-ling that they're starting to sing so fine. When they get to the part where he's breaking her heart, it can really make me cry, just like before. It's yesterday once more.
Gee, that sounds like Karen Carpenter. It's wow. Let's do some analysis because Chloe sounds so good. Like, and Mr. McGlone, you have done a lovely job in the capture of her voice. What I'm going to do now is I was looking at this, I thought I did doubt. I was seriously doubting. So I went and I actually own a copy of from the gold collection of like a collection of Carpenter's pieces. So I grabbed that. I only had an MP4 version, so not a full WAV file, but I grabbed that and I put it through the same isolation process that I put my other videos through. So stem separated the vocal and then reduced the verb and reduced some noise and left me with this. This is what it's left me with.
When I was young, I'd listen to the radio.
So that's Karen Carpenter. That's not Chloe. And then I layered over the top of that the visual of Chloe's performance, and this is what we got.
When I was young, I'd listen to the radio.
And so there's some. So the bottom one, I've just moved them apart. The bottom one is Chloe, and the top one is Karen. And I looked at it and I thought, oh, gee, I mean, look at these two. Gee, they look the same, but they're not exactly the same. And I thought, you know, is there something, you know, just very clever going on here? So then I thought, okay, what I'll do is I'll go and capture a YouTube recording of like the original 1970s. I went looking for a 1970s version of the same recording of Karen. And so I'll turn that one off and I'll turn this one back on. So these are both now, and I'll bring them back together. Look at that. That is exactly the same.
When I was young, I'd listen to the radio.
We're getting a slight amount of phasing going on there, because I'm layering two vocals, not exactly together, but pretty much. And you can see same recording, right? Exactly the same, like exactly the same. So what that tells us is this is not a lip sync. of Chloe to Karen because they are different. There is difference going on here.
When I was young, I'd listen to the radio.
There's not much difference. But there is enough for us to look at it and go, they are not one and the same. If they were, Chloe almost certainly and her engineer would have taken the vocal and we would be hearing, they would all line up. They don't line up. Gee, they're close. And that's probably the takeaway. When we come back to just these two, so this is now just the gold collection version on the top and Chloe's version on the bottom. When we have a look at them, I want you to have a look at the phrasing. And that's going to be, besides the tone, and we'll have a look at the tone in the spectrogram in a moment, but have a look at, and this was kind of when I first put it in and just glanced at it, I went, oh no, it's the same. And it's not, but what tricked me, I guess, on first look is how exact, like freakishly exact the phrasing is. Now, is it possible, because if we go back to our email, let me just bring the email back up again. So if we look here at Alan's email back to Daryl, he's indicating that the choice of mic was a U87 that would have been possibly what was used for Karen. He has, she picked a U89. When I look at the recording, I don't recognize the mic. Is that a U89 in the visual? I think the U89i is black. I could be wrong. So I wonder whether this has been whether they've recorded. Have they recorded the video and the audio together? That, for me, is still in question. But what he has said is no tuning was used of any sort. It's all Chloe, just some reverb, compression, and equalization. And he did have to twiddle for the EQ, and he applied a very specific type of Dolby noise reduction. Now, but what he hasn't made mention of is whether he did or didn't, move the phrasing around at all, which can be done in post. I'm not saying it did get done. I'm just acknowledging that it can be done. Because, again, when we come back to the recording, the phrasing is just, I guess, again, it's not exact. We know it's not a lip sync, but gee, Chloe, you have done such a bang-up job of being so close.
When I was young, I'd listen to the radio, waiting for my favorite songs. When they played, I'd sing along.
Like, even that, listen to that.
Played, I'd sing.
That onset is freakishly close.
Along. It made me smile. Those were such happy times, and not so long ago. How I wondered where they'd gone. But they're back again, just like a long-lost friend.
So you can hear the top one. If we have a listen to it from here, have a listen to, just stretch that out a little bit more.
Those were such happy times and not so long ago. How I wondered where they'd gone.
So what I'm starting to hear, and the longer you hear them, and when you place them together, one of the voices,
how I wondered where they...
Can you hear how Karen's, which is what we just listened to second, Karen's tone is just a smidge lighter in its colouring. If we come back to Chloe,
how I wondered where...
there's just a little bit more weight. It is ever so subtle. We put them back together.
How I wondered where they'd gone, but they're back again, just like a long-lost friend.
Definitely two different voices. But Chloe, I've never observed anything like this ever. It's just too, it's so good it's uncanny. So good it's uncanny. Let's move on, and then we might come back and have another look at the spectrogram to have a look at the subtle differences around the tone.
Looking back on how it was in years gone by, and the good times that I had, makes today seem rather sad. So much has changed. It was songs of love that I would sing to them, and I'd memorize each word. Then listen with melodies to sense of...
So there we get a really good look at the microphone. That I'm pretty sure is not a U89. I don't know what type of microphone that is, but it's definitely not a U89. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that, given that we've got email evidence to say a U89 was used for the recording, that suggests very strongly to me that this has been, the video has been shot after the audio, and Chloe is now singing along to the recording of herself. In that sense, it's a lip sync. In that sense, I would think. If I'm getting this all muddled up, Daryl, you don't hesitate to tell me, because I am on board with this is all Chloe. But I wonder, and the fact that she's so good at the phrasing of aligning with the phrasing of, to be sounding so much like Karen, then I don't hesitate at the idea that she would be that good at syncing up with her own vocal, because she has obviously practiced this to such an extent that this is exactly how she sings this every time. Would be my take on it, me following the breadcrumbs. Leave your comments below. What are you hearing? What are you thinking?
Good to me as they melt the years away. Every sha-la-la-la, every woe still shines. Every shing-a-ling-a-ling that they started to sing so fun.
So let's come over and have a look at the pitch, the spectrogram. Let's first of all have a look at Karen.
Looking back on on how it was in years gone by.
And if we come back and have a look at the vocal for Chloe.
Looking back on how it was in years gone.
You can hear that, can't you? You can hear the difference in the color.
Looking back on how it was in years gone.
So that's Karen's voice. Unfortunately, I don't know of a way to layer the two pitches over each other in this particular program, Voce Vista. But if we have a look at, let's have a look at just this section here, this note here.
Looking back. Looking back.
You certainly can see the difference in the spectrogram. Have a look, everything sort of between 1,000 and 5,000, this area just here in Karen. And then if we go and have a look at this area, 1,000 to 5,000, look at how there's just that little bit more resonance, a little bit more color in Chloe's voice. This could be an artifact of the separation process that the voices have gone through that I've applied. But that being all said, I hear it tonally in what we're hearing and then what we're seeing. This is Chloe.
Looking back on how it was in years gone by and the good times that I had.
Let's listen to the same for Karen.
Looking back on how it was in years gone by and the good times that I had.
Oh, and we hear, can you hear that? Look at this little movement here, that little bit of growl. If we come back over here, there's no growl in that sound from Chloe.
Times that I had.
It's completely clean, but in Karen,
that I had.
That's quite definitive. Yeah, to have the presence of that growl in one and to not have it in another. Let's continue with just a little bit more.
Makes today seem rather sad.
Ooh, and there's another one.
Makes
this is Chloe.
Today seem rather sad. So much has changed.
No, so no glottal stroking or growl there, vocal fry.
So much has changed.
This is Karen's note. Now, just before we continue with the actual performance from Chloe, what I want to do, let's have a look at the vibrato rate between the two. So this is Karen. Karen's getting a vibrato rate. I'm going to write this down. Long-term average, Karen's getting a mean vibrato rate of 5 hertz. And the extent is quite wide, actually, around about 107. Whereas if we come back to Chloe's values are 5.2 and wider vibrato of a 139. So there's a difference as well. All of these, I keep calling them breadcrumbs because I was not in the room. Firstly, I wasn't in the room when Karen recorded. Wouldn't that have been wonderful? And I definitely wasn't in the room when Chloe recorded this. But we follow all of the evidence, all of the breadcrumbs, and we're just left with, I think the conclusion is Chloe, this is all Chloe.
All my best memories come back clearly to me. Some can it's yesterday once more. Every sha-la-la-la, every whoa still shines.
It's just beautiful.
Every shing-a-ling-a-ling that they're starting to sing so fine. Every sha-la-la-la, every whoa still shines. Every shing-a-ling-a-ling that they're starting to sing so fine.
Have you ever heard anything so close to the original? Like, and I can understand, I can understand how people have come to just at face value accusing Chloe of lip sync or it simply being AI generated. I kind of get it. They shouldn't. And, but I do, because when I first pulled the video up, my first take was, oh, this is a lip sync. This has been completely doctored, and I'm listening to Karen. The evidence would suggest otherwise. The evidence would suggest I keep saying, this is all Chloe. And we can also see that it hasn't been pitch corrected as it's been accused. No, I think Chloe's just obviously that good. Does that tell us that Chloe could do this every single time she does a performance? I doubt it, in the sense that, if we went and heard her live, again, I think we would go, oh my goodness, we're listening to Karen Carpenter, because we're not comparing, in that moment, we're not comparing apples with, apples, we're comparing apples with oranges, but we would still think, man, you sound so the same. But would it, if we captured that live performance, would it look that exact? I doubt it. But that does not take away from the fact that there is a recording of her doing it. I'm getting myself all muddled up in my thoughts now. Daryl, I hope that is helpful. I hope that ticks the box that you are hoping that I would tick. I quite enjoyed the investigative nature of this, the forensic view I had to take of this video. It is far more forensic than I typically get into, as far as looking at tone and color and pitch accuracy and aligning, pre-takes, but it was fun. I hope you found it fun. I very much look forward to seeing you in the next vocal analysis video. I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.